Wait, why is a 6-year-old standing outside on Thanksgiving while everyone eats inside? And they are acting like it's normal. Who decided he doesn't belong and why does it feel intentional? Without taking much time, let's get down straight to the story.
Open the door. I want to see my grandson eat outside. Sarah Mitchell froze the second she heard her father say it. Outside, 6-year-old Ethan stood on the porch in the cold, his breath fogging the glass as he watched a Thanksgiving dinner he wasn't allowed to join. Inside the house, everything looked normal, too normal. Plates full, laughter soft, wine poured, like a child wasn't being quietly erased from the table. Sarah, 32, had driven over thinking this would be a simple family holiday, a fresh start after divorce. Something stable for Ethan. But the moment she arrived, she felt it, something was off. Her father, Robert, barely greeted them. Her mother, Linda, smiled too tightly. And Ethan, he wasn't even offered a chair. Then came the sentence that split everything open. There's no place for him inside. Sarah thought it was a joke, a misunderstanding, something she could fix in seconds. But no one laughed. And then the door closed. Ethan stayed outside, watching, waiting. And Sarah realized something terrifying. This wasn't sudden. It was planned. She reaches for the door handle, but stops when she hears what her mother says next from inside. He'll learn his place eventually. Don't open it. And Sarah is forced to decide in that exact moment whether she obeys or changes everything. Sarah didn't move at first. Before we continue with this video, please like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for updates. Her hand stayed frozen on the door handle like it had locked up with her thoughts. Outside the glass, Ethan shifted on his feet, trying to stay brave, but his small shoulders were already dropping. "Mom," he whispered through the crack in the door. "Can I come in now?" Inside, Sarah finally pushed the door open just enough to step out. The cold hit her face. Hard. But not as hard as her father's voice from inside the dining room. "He's not coming in," Robert said calmly, like he was discussing weather. Sarah turned slowly. "Excuse me?" Her mother avoided her eyes. "Sarah, don't make this dramatic." That word, dramatic, landed wrong. Like Ethan being outside wasn't the problem, her reaction was. Sarah crouched beside her son, wrapping her coat around him. "Did anyone tell you to leave him out here?" she asked, voice low. Silence. That was the answer. Then Ethan added quietly, "Grandpa said I should wait until I'm invited like real family." Something inside Sarah tightened. Because that wasn't confusion. That was instruction. She stands up slowly and walks back toward the house alone, leaving Ethan behind for just a moment. And when she steps inside, she finally asks the question she's been avoiding. "How long has this been going on?" The room didn't answer her immediately. Just the sound of forks continuing to scrape plates. Like her question had no weight in that house. Then Robert finally leaned back in his chair. "Since you stopped listening," he said flatly. Sarah blinked. What does that even mean? Linda exhaled like she was tired of repeating herself. "You always defend him, Sarah. Even when it's obvious." A cold realization started forming in Sarah's chest. This wasn't about today. It was layered, built over time. Quiet decisions she was never included in. Outside, Ethan knocked lightly again. "Mom?" Sarah's head snapped toward the door, but Robert spoke again before she could move. "If you bring him in now, you're making this dinner impossible," he said. That was the turning point.
Wait, he just said bringing her own child inside will ruin dinner. How is that even a condition and why does it sound like he planned this?
Not the insult, not the exclusion, the demand to choose. Sarah looked at the table, then at the door, then at her son's small silhouette outside the glass. Her voice dropped. "I see." She walks past them without another word. But instead of opening the door for Ethan, she picks up her phone and makes a call that immediately changes the tone of everything. "I need legal documentation started tonight." Legal documentation? The words hit the room like a dropped glass. Robert's fork stopped midair. "Sarah, what are you talking about?" But she didn't answer him. Her eyes were already on Ethan through the window. He was still there, still waiting, still trying to understand why love felt like rejection. Linda stood up. You're overreacting. It's Thanksgiving, for God's sake. Sarah finally turned. No, she said quietly. This is what I should have done sooner. Outside, Ethan pressed his forehead to the glass. Mom, can I come in now? That question broke something in her, but not her resolve. She walked to the door, opened it, and took his hand. But instead of going back inside, she walked straight past the table and out the front door. Robert stood up sharply. Sarah? She paused at the threshold, not turning around. You made my son sit outside like he doesn't belong, she said. So now you'll understand what that actually means. The door shut behind them. Silence swallowed the house. Inside, Linda finally looked uneasy. Robert, what did we just do? And for the first time, Robert didn't have an answer. Because Sarah wasn't just leaving dinner anymore. She was leaving consequences behind. And what they didn't know yet was that the real shock was only beginning to unfold. The next morning arrived with an unsettling silence. Robert was the first to notice something was wrong. Sarah's car wasn't in the driveway. Neither was Ethan's small backpack by the hallway bench. At first, he told himself it was just anger, she'd come back. But then he checked his phone. One message. No emotion. Just structure. I've documented everything from last night. Legal counsel has been contacted. Further communication will be handled formally. Linda read it twice, then went pale. She actually did it. And suddenly the weight of the night before changed shape. Sarah hadn't just left dinner. She had escalated everything into formal separation and protection protocols based on documented exclusion of a minor. Sarah, meanwhile, was sitting in a temporary safe housing arrangement with Ethan. He was eating breakfast quietly, still processing, but no longer tense. Are we in trouble? He asked. Sarah shook her head. No. You're safe now. That was the emotional release. No shouting, no chaos. Just safety replacing fear. Back at the house, Robert tried calling. No answer. Again. And again. Panic replaced arrogance. Days later, family messages came in. Questions. Judgment. Distance forming socially and emotionally around Robert and Linda. Sarah didn't return. Instead, she rebuilt stability for Ethan, school enrollment, counseling support, structured custody boundaries. And for the first time since Thanksgiving, Ethan didn't wait outside a door. He had a place inside a life that actually included him.
And if something like this can be normalized inside one family, how many other doors are being quietly closed right now? And no one is questioning who decided it or why. And don't forget to share your thoughts with me on this story.